America. This is the land of the frivolous lawsuit. People can make up anything they want to, whether it be true or not. And what you're going to be forced to do is settle out of court, right? The end result of that is school's going to start cutting football completely because at that level, the money's not there. In a lot of places, the money just isn't there to start settling lawsuits right and left. You got at a quad A school. I'm using like Georgia terminology. At a quad A school, which you may have like 80 dudes on the team, 80 dudes that dress, right? Imagine if like 1% of those guys on any given team, their parents decide to sue for some sort of concussion. Like if Bobby's grades start to suffer, and the parent wants to link that to blows to the head, and presents the school or the school district with a lawsuit. Eventually, just financially, they'll be forced to end football at whatever school or whatever school district that may be. In that lies a huge problem for colleges, for the NFL, and that's the one that nobody's talking about. So when it does come up, remember where you heard it, right here on the Sports Kings podcast on Spreaker.com, and you'll be tweeting us and Facebooking us then, and you know, what's the other one, and Instagramming us then at Sports Kings Live, and emailing us at sportskingslive@gmail.com. Say, man, y'all dudes was talking about this like a month ago. You damn right. It's part of the gig.
Yeah. That, I mean, dude, that could, do you know what that could do? I mean, that could basically decimate college football, I mean, to a certain degree. You know, I mean, especially like, say if something like that happened in Georgia, right? And then they, you know, they got rid of it. Say they got rid of it statewide, but they kept it in places like Alabama. You know, that will put all of these local universities in the state of Georgia, it will put them behind the gun. You know, I mean, yeah, I mean, that would be a complete travesty. But I could see it happening.
Now, let's keep it real. Let's keep it real. Let me make sure that people understand what I'm talking about. Because we talked about this in boxing, right? And what we talked about in boxing, we didn't talk about in just schools, in prep schools. So where we live at, it would be more likely to happen on the north side of things, Alpharetta, you know, whatever the more affluent part of your particular state or city that you live in, that's where it'll happen. Like, it's not going to happen in the hood. The hood schools are not going to happen because mama want her kid to go to college on that football scholarship. She want her kid to maybe be that 2% or that 0.2% that makes it to the NFL. So they definitely trying to get rid of no football programs in the hood. But again, if little white Tommy starts getting hit in the head too much and them grades start to slip, yeah, that's not part of the master plan up on that. Like, the master plan is for you to go get your bachelor's and your master's and your doctorate and then get you know, be the head of the company or take on the family business. It's that type of conversation that goes on around that dinner table. So let's be clear with, it's not going to be a statewide thing where all high school football go. It's back to what we talked about, the ghettoization. And I don't know if I made it clear what that is. And it's a reference to what happened in boxing. It would just be a socioeconomic change within the sport because there are going to always be poor black kids that need a way out of a bad situation. And for a lot of those kids, it's athletics. So to be football and basketball at the top of the list. So those kids will always be there. So the NFL is never going to be starved for stock, for human stock.
But I'm saying, but don't you think it'll be a trickle down though? I mean, because when you start talking about just like, let's look right here in Metro Atlanta, right, in Fulton County. Now you have Fulton County. It goes all the way down south. The schools like Creekside and Westlake and Banneker and all those schools. But then when you start talking about that affluent area, Alpharetta, Johns Creek, all of that, that's still Fulton County. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So it's like, if they shut it down on one end of the county, then that's what I'm saying, that I think that at some point it'll be a trickle down to where it would then affect, you know, not just the white communities, but the black communities as well.
That'd be a tough sell. It'd just be a tough sell. Because the easier thing to do, like if it happened in Johns Creek, the first thing that's going to happen is, you know, all right, little Timmy, you just play soccer. You just run cross country, whatever.
Rugby,
yeah,
lacrosse.
You just do something different. Like where we stay at, Nah, you're going to play football. You're going to play basketball. That's what it's going to be. You know, there is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's just how it's going to be, just because of a lot of the family dynamics that happen within our community, where, again, we're talking about a lot of moms who are raising boys, trying to find the best way to turn those boys into men the best way they can. And a lot of times for them, it's turning them to sports. And a lot of times it's easy for a mom to turn their son to a sport that they can understand. Like basketball and football are just two sports where if at its basic level, you follow the ball. You know, like I don't watch football that way, because of, we do this. But at its basic level, a mom can follow basketball. She can follow football because it just follow the ball. Baseball's a lot more intricate than that. Soccer's a lot slow. Well, not slower, but it's a lot like, okay, it's a bunch of running and somebody might score a goal and that's it. So it's not really something that is going to capture the attention of somebody who may not really be into sports, but is very into their kid. So that leaves you with football and basketball. So to find a scenario where those things, because you come to our community, boxing might not be in school, but go down to the Y, go down to the boys club. There's kids in there punching each other. It's little kids in there punching each other. You damn right.
Right. Because
guess what? At some point, there is an option may present itself that would allow you to get out of the bad situation that you're in, or the not so good situation that you're in, or your family's in financially, to do something better in life. You know what I mean? Because most of the kids where we live, they see a lot of football players and on TV and basketball players. Not a lot of kids know a doctor. Not a lot of kids. Like the first black man I knew that went to, I think he went to Harvard. Roddy Jones' dad. Roddy Jones, former Georgia Tech running back. His dad. Yeah. The first black man I knew that went to Harvard, Ivy League school. And I met him when I was, I'm about to be 38 this month. I was probably 30 something, 2 maybe. Yeah. Or the first black man that I consciously knew. I may have met somebody before that went to and just didn't know it, but he's the first one that I met that I actually knew, what his past was as far as his collegiate, endeavors. And I think, for what it's worth, I think probably the best thing that came out of the Maurice Clarett thing was that no one's right and no one's wrong in this situation. It's not a right or wrong situation. You do what's best for you. You make the choices that you make, but don't expect no credit from me just because you use information to make your choices. And I wish I can't find this quote, but there was a player that said, "What do Patrick Willis and Chris Borland know something that we don't know?" No, idiot. They know what everybody knows. What's wrong with you?
Know, right.
Everyone knows about this. You been living under a rock, dude? When I read that, I was like, no, that can't be a direct quote. Do these two dudes know something the rest of us don't know? Oh, God.
Idiot. Everybody knows about
this. Can someone give him the concussion protocol right now?
It's been made readily available to the general public. Just not the NFL. Everybody knows.
That's the whole point. That's the whole entire point of this whole lawsuit situation. So that now you do have, it's the reason, douchebag, that before you step on the field for training camp, they give you that baseline test to find out where your baseline is. So anytime you get hit in the head during the game, they give you the same test again until you can pass the test. You can't go back on the field. That's what that's for. Did no one tell him that this is why we're doing this? He's just like, I don't know. I'm just out here running to people as fast as I can, and then when I can't do it no more, I'm going to go somewhere and make it rain and be broke for the rest of my life. No, I don't know about that.
Make it rain and be broke.
And I hate when people say that too. Like, people act like these dudes go broke by paying strippers. Like, no one spends $10 million on strippers. Like, other things happen in people's lives that allow them to go from having a $10 million contract to being broke, and it's not strippers. Right. If that's the case, every stripper in the world would be retired right now. She'd be like, I'm good. And that one dude just paid me $10 million. I'm good. I don't even need to go pay my tuition now, because that's what she's doing with it.
I don't even need school.
Right. So, no, I hate that. I hate when people go that route. I want to make sure I got through all the points I wrote here, man. What I didn't mention yesterday, that I should have mentioned. I may have mentioned it. DeMaurice Smith is back in control of the NFL Players Association.
We didn't talk about that.
He won the midnight. They did the midnight Eastern Standard Time. It was like 6:00 in Hawaii where they held the vote, and he won. A lot of people believe it's because there were just so many people in the running. It was like 8 other dudes running against him where he ran unopposed last time. So basically,
any notable people?
Yeah. God, you would ask me that. My man from the Panthers, the dude that I told you was going. He was going. Sean Gilbert. He was the guy who was going. He was going to try to get the. Going to try to get them out of the current CBA under the guise of not the guys, but under a collusion type deal, saying that the NFL colluded against the players, and so the current CBA should be null and void. A lot of people felt like that was a good idea, but it was just too much of an uphill battle to have that done. Because so many things were signed saying that you can't blame us. Once you sign this, you can't blame us. You can't come back and take us to court about this. Like, they signed an awful deal.
Right.
It's an awful deal. Like, the owners got everything they want percentage wise, and they're gonna come back in not in 10 years now, in 2021 and get more. They're gonna come back and they're not even gonna stand pat. They're gonna come back for more because that's what makes rich white people rich white people. It ain't enough. Like, nobody, like Warren Buffett has like $300 million. What you gonna do with that? Yeah, what you gonna do with $300 billion? Well, what you gonna do with that? He got so much money. He gave his homeboy Bill Gates $30 billion. He just gave his homeboy $30 billion to go save African kids from mosquito bites. Billion. That's what it's all about. I saw his tax return in paper form on PBS. It's taller than him. Like, all the paper stacked up, like just regular paper, copy paper. It's stacked up, taller than a grown man. Good but my point is, there's never enough for rich people. There's never enough. Like, I don't know what you can do with $300 billion that you can't do with $1 billion. There's nothing you can't buy with $1 billion, but for some reason you gotta have 300. I ain't mad at you. Whatever. If you're looking somebody to unload it on, because his whole thing is that he wants to give away all his money before he dies. Like, look at homeboy, you ain't no spring chicken. It's time to get the giving. Have
you seen his chick? Have you seen his wife?
No, I haven't. Do I want to? Is she old too, or is she like she old as hell?
Oh no.
She young and fine.
Got him. Yeah, she's Asian. I don't know if she's Korean or Japanese or what. Yeah, man. She's a banger.
Got mommy with the.
And it was like they were at some press conference about a year or two ago. And somebody was trying to, I forgot what they tried to do. They tried to smash him in the face with a cake. Somebody was mad, and you know how people, throw shoes or whatnot. And this chick actually stepped in front of him, right? And whipped this lady's butt, like grabbed her by the hair, tried to pull her across the table.
Yeah, you damn right.
No, you're not going to be touching my man. Yeah. You're not touching my man.
Yeah,
like,
you ain't just here to be pretty, bro. Do something. Yeah, you damn right. Because if you don't, it's going to be a problem when we get home. Damn right. Shoot. Damn right. In other NFL news, I think we've exhausted the whole Chris Borland situation, and Dan Patrick had his whole show about, is it a game changer? And to me, that's kind of nebulous. It's kind of like, what are we talking about? There is no yes or no answer to that. Of course, it's a part of a game changer. It's going to definitely, like, you can't tell me that some kid in college or some kid that just entering the league is thinking to themselves, like, damn, this kid had everything in front of him. He was at the front end of a $2 million contract, and now they're talking about the 49ers maybe coming back to get some of that money, that bonus money, because it's prorated over the 4 years of the contract, and obviously he's not going to be able to fulfill that obligation. So, there's an option for them to come back and get some money from him, which, I would assume for a dude, he hired not hired. He spoke with a consultant about his decision and all that kind of stuff, a dude that wrote a book about, life after the game. So I'm assuming that all those things were brought up as options of things that he may have to deal with. And, quite frankly, I would assume if somebody makes this type of decision, they're prepared for whatever happens in the aftermath. If it's, you have to give back some of your bonus money, so be it. If this is really the decision you want to hold fast to, that you're not going to play football anymore.
Yeah, they cover that bonus money. He might be the first one soon back up.
Nah,
I'm back. I was just playing.
Nah,
I'm back.
I think he's good.
Yeah,
his reasoning.
He would have to be.
His reasoning is enough for me. Once dudes start talking about their brains and You know, and then dudes are on TV today talking about, well, I mean, from his perspective, he's only had 2 confirmed concussions. Like, hold on, there's no such thing as only 2 concussions. Like